And we are back. This is Fourth and Fantasy, your playbook for game-winning drive. Hope everyone's having a great day, great night, wherever you are. I'm Honcho, and this is my guy.
Siriaco. Everybody calls me Rocco.
And we have a guest for y'all today. The one, the only, Joey the Tooth. Very unique name at that. How you feeling, Joey?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Man, I can't complain. It's been a long day, long week, but man, I was actually in Jacksonville mostly all of last week. Came back Friday, went to a water park Sunday. So trying to just get back into the swing of things and get relax.
Yeah,
Uh, Go Rocco.
your kids are younger. Huh? Y'all went to the water park. Well, you
Yeah,
just left
man.
them. Oh, gave them a babysitter, and you went to the water park with the wife, and you just
Bro,
He called
that's
in
go.
a babysitter. He's like, I gotta go, guys. I gotta go have fun. I gotta bring out my kid again.
I'm
Hey
telling you, bro. That's
kids,
what they
go
bring up.
hang
That's what
out.
the lazy river. Literally, the lazy rivers for the adults. If they allowed you to bring any type of alcoholic drink into the lazy river, 100% would do it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I grew up on a lake, and we used to just sit out in tubes and just go float on the lake and just.
Oh hell no. That's a nah. I can't. That's too.
It was
I
dangerous.
don't know how I feel
On a
about that.
tube. You
And a
don't go
tube, yeah.
tubing. You don't go
Nah,
tubing.
nah.
Oh man, we go
Oh man,
tubing. Several times every summer, and just lay in the back, go around, drink our ass off. Maybe some other activities,
right?
and just
Mm,
get blasted. I'm surprised I haven't drowned doing that shit yet.
That's some scary activity right there, y'all.
No. When we go out in the lake, there's like zero waves. It's a small lake. It's only like 2 miles round, and where I grew up, and so it's just like you just go out and you float. You don't move. You find a spot and you sit. You get a little umbrella built in so you don't burn. You just sit there.
Joey, where are you located?
Connecticut.
Okay, it's a little. I'm originally from Georgia, but lived in Virginia for a good
Yep.
part. So I understand it might be a little nippy
Yeah,
today where you're
today
at.
was 47 degrees. We haven't really we had like 60 degrees once so far this year.
Pass.
Yeah,
No, thank you.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready for some warmth, man.
Yeah, Florida all day over here. That's
Like I but Florida in summertime, it's hot, man. I have my in-laws have a house in Florida. I went there in September. I couldn't be out there from it's probably because I'm from New England, but I couldn't be out there from 10 o'clock till like 6 o'clock. It was too hot.
I agree. I don't ever want to be outside at past maybe like midday because then you feel like you got to go take a shower about 3 times
Right.
throughout the day. It feels nasty, disgusting. Could cut humidity with a knife, man. Don't like it.
Right.
Yeah, New Orleans the same, man. Our humidity is just unreal.
I
Really?
cannot.
Yeah, oh man, I worked outside. In about one summer, I sweat off about 50 pounds. I was a large fellow, and I started working outside, and I just sweat that. Didn't change any other portion of my diet. I just sweat off like 50 pounds in
Water
one
weight just
summer.
gone.
Yeah, just gone.
So we have for y'all today something that we don't really talk about much, but we should because it needs the respect that it needs. IDP, which
Yes.
actually was my first format when I came to Sleeper that I played on. My first ever Dynasty League on Sleeper was an IDP format.
That's what I'm talking
Now
about.
that completely changed after the first season. People said fuck that. And we were like, no, we need to get rid of this bullshit here. And
Man,
we replaced them very quickly. But
man.
I very much
Mm.
enjoy IDP. Tell us about yourself. How do you feel about the IDP format? What gets you going about the whole thing?
Oh, I just love it. So my first IDP season, right? I was working with a couple of guys, and they said, "Hey, let's try IDP. It's individual defensive player. It's like you draft defensive players along with your offensive players." I was like, "I'm game." So we ended up doing it was 11 offense, 11 defense. We had full teams, and like first shot, just 11 IDP. It was like, "All right, let's do it." So we had somewhat deep benches still, and it was Luke Kuechly's rookie season, and it
Woo.
was J.J. Watt's second year, and they were my last two picks on my IDP roster. And I also had Alden Smith that year. Alden Smith had like
Woo.
20 sacks. J.J. Watt had like 18, and Luke Kuechly ended up with like 150 tackles. And I was like, those are like my last three picks. And I was like, ever since, I'm like, I'm in. I won the championship that year, like hands down. And it was
You
just like I've been hooked ever since.
you said a name that gets me going about IDP players and just defensive players in whole. Luke Kuechly, and I'm sad that he retired so
I
damn early,
know.
man. Because
But
he
his
locked
head,
it
he
down.
had way too many concussions.
Concussion shmushing.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
know.
tell that
Yeah.
to Tua.
No, no, who was it? Oh man, I forgot who it was. It was a Saints player where he went to go tackle him, and he just came out looking googly eyed. Was it maybe Mark Ingram?
Maybe.
Oh yeah, because Mark Ingram
Yeah,
ran right through him.
yeah, yeah. The linebacker's a tough position on the brain.
I love
Absolutely.
Luke Kuechly. And then you said, and most if y'all didn't know about Alden Smith, and this is before he came a crackhead, it's like
So good.
so good. He had this his first few seasons. He was actually on par to break a certain record
Yep.
where he was in his career.
Yep.
Went downhill after that, but damn,
That
he was
defense,
good.
man. That defense was so good. Justin
Mhm.
Smith on the interior. You had Alden Smith, and I'm blanking on his name on the other side. He was a veteran. I know his number 55. I'm a 49ers fan. So yeah, Justin Smith in the center, Alden
D
Smith on
Ford,
the edge. What was that?
D
No, it
Ford.
was it was before D Ford.
Oh,
I'll figure it out at some point. But you had Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis.
yeah,
That team was so good. And then Alden Smith just went to hell.
literally in all aspects. But if you didn't know, Joey, my favorite team is the Dallas Cowboys. That's who I root for. Those are my guys, and I know the Dallas Cowboys love a good redemption player. Didn't have that for us, and I
No.
think he was the last. We were the last team he ever played for in the
Yep.
NFL. So Alden Smith, wherever you are, if you ever watch any podcasts out there, respect to you,
We
G.
do
I
still
didn't mean
love
to
him.
call you. I didn't mean to call you a crackhead. My fault. You know what I'm
He
saying?
just
But
went a little loony, that's all.
I
a
mean,
little loose.
we don't. You didn't mean to call him a crackhead, but I mean, he did crack.
No, let it go. So
I don't
He's
have
gonna
that in front of
find
me.
us
I'm
after this
just
podcast.
guessing.
He's like, all right, we need to stop the Alden Smith before he comes and finds us.
no, literally though.
All right,
But
I'm already working on the art for the pod.
so like when my first season of IDP, I first off I didn't know what IDP was. I didn't even know what Dynasty was. To
Oh
be
damn.
honest with you, I
So your
was just
first dynasty league was the
yeah.
IDP?
The
Oh
whole
man.
thing, the
There you
whole
go.
shebang wang. I didn't know what I was doing. Someone said, just come join. I always just played on Yahoo and ESPN.
Yep.
So this was a whole new world. And then what was funny as hell, when we decided to go away from IDP, people were like, some of us spent like a fourth round pick on
That's
a
why you can't just remove it from leagues because you'll piss off like half the league that
Yep.
are heavily invested in those IDPs.
people were ready to riot. And I'm in the corner like, fuck the IDP.
Man, man, y'all should have just nuked that league and moved on.
You should have. You should have just started over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're on year three, so it's going well after that. It was a little bit of hiccup. We made people happy after that, but it was good to know.
Did you
And
reintroduce
Well,
IDP?
hmm?
Did you reintroduce IDP? You
No,
should. You should.
no.
come
Slowly.
on, that
Slowly.
Now,
all of my home leagues.
but this,
All three of our oldest running home leagues are IDP.
but I
Not
will
fully,
say,
but at least a portion.
it made me get more when I wasn't with looking, and now I'm in like 4 or 5 other IDP leagues now. It made me appreciate or get more knowledgeable about defensive players and the value of which play like the out on the field. Quickly learned,
Hmm.
unless it's a real defensive end that gets a lot of sacks, they
Yep.
most likely ain't gonna be shit for you, right? I was the person that drafted Michael Parsons, and don't get me wrong, Michael Parsons does have some games where he gets you points,
Right.
but in my because I'm like he's a monster, he gets sacks, but really the real true stat that gets you points in IDP is tackle.
Depends the format you play. I'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
my favorite format when we get
That's
to
what
it. But so you want to go with my favorite
Yeah,
format?
yeah, go.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's my guys from they used to be the Big Three Pod. It's now the IDP Show podcast. They have their own scoring. It actually caters to more of a big play, right? So
Okay.
so it makes like guys who are actually really good on defense be more effective in IDP. So tackles, they go for 1.25 points. Assists just go for 3/4 of a point. Then you get 3 points for tackles for a loss because it's a big play. You
Yeah.
get two
Mm-hmm.
points for a QB hit, 5 points for a sack, 6 points for interception, 4 for a pass defended, 3 for a fumble recovery, and 4 for a forced fumble, 5 for safety, 5 for a blocked kick, 6 for a touchdown. And then for every sack yard, interception yard, or fumble recovery yard, you get 0.1 points. So say you got 10 recovery yards, you get a point.
I like those settings. I
So
actually
I
that right
like it.
there, so what it does, it makes your top IDP, which in this setting, it's usually your top edge rushers. Those are
Mm,
usually your top guys. You guys who are getting like 60 tackles and 13 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your guys usually your top of your line. And what that does, it equates them to like a high end wide receiver 2, low end wide receiver 1. So it makes it equal to offense almost. So you're looking at it like, say you're drafting, you're doing a startup, and you just get shit on by a run, and you're on the back end of a wide receiver run. There's nobody
Mm-hmm.
left. You can kind of just falter and just go with a bunch of wide receiver 2s, but maybe you dive at IDP a little early and you start dominating a different position because the scoring's so equal. It's all right if you miss out on one as long as you can make up for it somewhere else.
And I like that strategy as well because I find in IDP startups, once you take once you take the Micah Parsons, you take the TJ Watt, then all of a sudden they're like, oh shit, there are defensive
Right.
players here. And then everybody behind you starts getting into those positions. Then you can load up, in other positions.
Right.
So like you
Start the
can load
runs.
up on the skill position players. So it's definitely a strategy to it. That's how I drafted in that league we were in with the big offensive and
Yep.
defensive league that we were in the free league.
Yep.
I was like the first person to draft Max Crosby in like the fifth, and next thing full side. I'm gonna mess his name up. Luakan gets drafted.
yep.
Micah Parsons. Then you see the run after that.
Yep. Yeah, so if you play more of a big play setting, it caters more to the actual
Mm-hmm.
good players in the NFL, and it also makes the scoring equal to offense. So you're not
After
worried
this
about like
episode, I'm gonna have to
what's that?
get with you. After this episode, I'm gonna have to get with you to get those settings. I like those
Oh, absolutely.
because it gets to the point where my first year, I was like, how do you know, grade out? I don't know that many defensive players, but then it makes you learn. Like Robert Spillane was one of the linebackers that I had picked up,
Hmm.
along with it's a linebacker. He might not be with the Denver Broncos. I think he signed with a different team. Um, Singleton, Alex Singleton.
He's still there for now. He just got
Okay.
injured last year, but it's him and Dre Greenlaw now,
Mhm.
which breaks my heart leaving the 49ers. But
No, him and Spillane got me to the playoffs.
hmm
And it gave me a whole different appreciation. So, when you go about your selecting of defensive players, is it like a position you go for first? Do you look at, edge guys, then linebackers and secondaries? Do you not touch the secondary guys?
I usually
Like,
wait on secondary just because it's the deepest position. And with these play settings, it actually makes cornerbacks relevant too. So like a nickel corner actually plays out really well. Like
Mm-hmm.
when Trent McDuffie was a big nickel corner, Kenny Moore in Indianapolis, like he's
Kenny
had
Moore.
90 tackles, 4 picks, like 12 PDs. That's a DB1 easy. So it makes cornerbacks relevant too. So that position also all of a sudden gets super deep. So what I'm doing is when I'm drafting, I'm looking at the top. I want to say top like 6, 7, 8 edge players. Like the top 5, I think, are elite, and then
mhm.
you have a couple after that who are still like right there. But then after that, I'm looking more towards linebackers because if you look in today's game, it's pass heavy. And there's not that many teams that are rocking like 2 full-time linebackers all the time. It used to be you had 3 full-time linebackers.
Yup.
Like you're rocking a Mike, a Will, and a Sam. It's
Yup.
not like that anymore. You're now playing nickel and dime so much that you're playing 2 linebackers, single linebacker. So having multiple linebackers that play 100% of the snaps is actually starting to dwindle. So you don't have less and less of those players. So once you get past those elite edge players, I'm starting to look at the top linebackers.
Like, who is your favorite guys at the line? I mean, I'm also someone who loves, because once again, go dogs. Roquan Smith is
Yep.
my guy that I absolutely love. Some underrated guys, the Marvion Overshawn. He
Yep.
was doing his thing at some time before he messed up his knee, tore
He probably
my.
won't even be back this year, you think, do you?
He'll be back in November.
You
That's
think
he's
so?
looking good. He's looking good too. But it hurt when I saw him go down, man, it hurt my soul to the
Yeah, he was
deep.
playing so good.
So
My
good.
favorite linebacker, Zach Bond. He's helped me win so many championships this
Right.
past season, and I was
As a
able to
Saints
pick him
fan, I'm
up
sure
in
that
week
hurts,
one.
though.
It hurts, but I like those championships he won me. Shit, the Saints not gonna ever win a championship, but I always had my fantasy gold.
Yep. Yeah, so if we're talking like my guys, my favorite linebackers, for this year, I'm looking. So Zach Bond actually is one of them because
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he finished as the LB1 last year. He thrived under Vic Fangio's 3-4 system. Like he wasn't running that 4-3 like he was in New Orleans. He's running that 3-4, so he's just 2 inside linebackers, and he thrived in that role. He just re-signed to a big contract into that same exact role, so his position hasn't changed. And Nakobe Dean's going to miss some time this year. He's probably going to miss at least a few games with that knee injury. So
I know.
Zach Bond's lined up to either match production or possibly even get better. So I love his role this year. You
Love
have
it,
Zaire
love it.
Franklin in Indy.
Yep.
I actually, when he first started coming out, I mean, they still had Shaq Leonard. I think Shaq Leonard had gotten injured. They had Bobby Okereke, and Zaire Franklin filled in, and he played very good. And I actually told everybody to sell high on him because I didn't think he was going to be around. He had just like one more year in his contract. He was older-ish in comparison, and he proved me completely wrong. I think he was the LB2 last year. I think he led the league in tackles. He's increased his playmaking with the losses of Okereke and Shaq Leonard, and his situation this year has not changed. It's just he doesn't really have a running mate at linebacker right now. I mean, so Zaire Franklin, he should have another big season.
Shaq Leonard, that was my guy.
Oh, mine too.
Until
The
he,
back,
I don't know
the
what happened with him.
injuries, the injuries,
Back injury, man.
back
Bad.
injuries.
He could never come back from it. He got injured his back, I think maybe neck too, but he just couldn't make his way back.
Then tell me
Such
what
a
happened.
stud, such a stud early on.
Oh yeah.
Tell me what happened with Devin White. Then that's another story. Another guy.
Devin White could never cover, and he couldn't tackle. He doesn't have technique.
He doesn't have
Sure, he racked
instincts.
up tackles. Like he was just he's incredibly athletic. He made all his plays off athleticism, and he had the luck of playing next to Levante David, an actually really good linebacker, who took all the responsibility off him. He says, "Here, you just bulldog yourself, rush the passer, and just be as aggressive as possible." But unfortunately, what that did is it showed his tackle grades were terrible. He had poor technique. He was lunging. He just couldn't really do much. So that's why Levante David's still with Tampa Bay, and at his age, still got another extension this year. And Devin White's on his third team in 3 years.
Yo, Levante David, that's a name. That's a house. That he's an oldie but goodie. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
he's
It's
fantastic.
like the
And
LeBron of linebackers.
seriously,
He's just like you thought he would have retired a couple years ago, and he's still, almost as
I
good as he
thought
was in
this
his
was the
prime.
year, and then Tampa Bay's like, "No, we need you for one more year, please. We don't have any linebackers."
No, it feels like when you're watching the game. That's how I look at my IDPs. It's like, man, he's just always around. Even when he's not getting the tackle, he's right there. Like he's
And
just
the dude, he's
always around
complete.
the ball.
Yes.
He can rush the passer. He's good in coverage, and that's why guys like him still have a contract because they are complete. Like, there's not many linebackers in the NFL that are like true complete 3-down linebackers. Like there's like Levante David is the guy. Like he can cover, he can rush the passer, and he's proved it in years. Like you've seen years where he's had like 5-6 sacks, and then you've had years where he's playing a little deeper, more like a Fred Warner type of role. It's just he's so versatile that Tampa Bay can change their game plan and not worry about him like being lost. Like,
Mm.
all right, you need to do this more. Okay, I'll do it.
Uh, with that, are you heavily being an IDP guy? Do you still tune into the NFL draft and the
Oh,
defensive prospect?
absolutely. Absolutely. I do
Oh,
defensive prospects. So me and my buddy Kyle Bellafuel, we're both with FootballGuys.com. Uh, we actually do pre-draft. I do the top 10 rookie defensive backs and the top 10 edge defenders, and he does the top 10 uh, interior defensive line and top 10 linebackers all pre-draft. And then once the draft happens, we create a top 40 rookie IDP big board, and we
mhm.
put that article out together. It's a nice little collab we do.
Ooh, since that's a nice transition to my next question. And since you look at the edge guys, right? There's been a lot of talk about my Georgia Bulldog guys, Jalen Walker and Michael Williams. Michael Williams is sort of on the downward spiral as of late. One, he didn't run a really good 40,
Yeah.
but to me, I don't give a fuck, right? Because he got grown NFL man strength right
Right.
now, and he has the measurables, he has the arm length. He's kind of a freak. It's been talk of the Cowboys liking him at 12, which I wouldn't be upset with. Sort
I
of.
would. I
It's
would.
You know
like
you want a receiver. Get
I
out
do
of
want
here.
I do want a receiver, but I do like me some Michael Williams. I even like Jalen Walker better though. That's would be my other catalyst. So
So
I
Jalen Walker, I think I like him better. I like Jalen Walker better. I think he has like his ceiling is like what Frankie Louvu was. Like he's a guy that can because he's like a mix of an edge defender and an inside linebacker. So I think he can be a guy who you can blitz often, like Washington did with Frankie Louvu, like Carolina did with Frankie Louvu. So that's the ceiling for him. But unfortunately, also his floor isn't very high either because he's kind of a tweener. They don't know is he going to be edge? Is he going to be a linebacker? As of right now, more leaning linebacker, but he never really dominated one position. You know, he was always back and forth. So he can either be used like a Frankie Louvu or somebody's going to be not sure where they're going to put him. And it kind of gives me like almost like a early Hassan Reddick vibes, how they tried making him a linebacker and then moved him back to edge. It's like I don't want him to
Mike,
get ruined by being
Micah Parsons
mismatched
started
wrong
as a
spot.
linebacker as well, didn't he?
Who's this?
at Penn State, but then where he's really been an edge.
Oh,
The
Parsons.
fan base wants to use him more as a linebacker.
He started a little bit at linebacker his rookie year, but then they
Yeah, I
just moved
remember
him
as
all
a
around the
rookie, he
formation.
was playing some
Yeah,
linebacker,
against the
but
Vikings, he took
You
over
know
on
what
that
they need to
game.
do? You know what the Cowboys need to do? I loved what they did. They called it their big NASCAR package. They had 0 interior defensive linemen on their front four. It was when
Oh
they
yeah,
had
Demarcus
Fowler
Lawrence.
on the team. It was just they had edge defenders all
Yeah,
across the front, and they're all standing up, and it's like nobody's got their hand in the dirt. Everybody, so like you don't know who's going to actually come at you, or who's going to do a stun. Their pass rush that time they had so much depth that it was fantastic. It was so fun to watch. That defense was so good that year too,
mhm.
and that's when Parsons had his best year. They need to get that depth back. Sam Williams needs to get healthy. Nealon
Yep.
needs to step it up.
Yeah,
But
and I agree with that one. And like I said, like kind of Rocco mentioned before, I really want us to go wide receiver. So I don't want to see any type of defensive guys. But like I said, they're Bulldogs. So if we went that direction, I wouldn't be
it, it
upset.
it's worked for the Eagles.
Yeah.
so if I'm the Cowboys and I'm looking at an edge at 12, I think I can think of probably 6 or 7 guys I'm taking before Michael
Ooh,
Williams.
Pierce would be one of them for me.
So Pierce is
Okay.
one. So Abdul Carter, obviously, he's
hmm
going to be in the
Okay.
top 5,
He's not going to be
probably
there.
top 3.
Shamar Stewart.
Mike Green,
hmm
Mike Green from
Okay.
Marshall. Mike Green is absolutely fantastic.
Beast.
If you want to learn a little more about him, check out the PFF IDP pod I did last week with John Macri. We just talked edge rushers, rookie edge
I did
rushers.
start to watch that one. Absolute
So
beast.
Mike Green,
He's a so-so. He's a
James
so-so
Pierce.
run defender.
No, he's a good run defender. If you look at his PFF grades, he's actually, I think he was in the 96th percentile of all rookie edge defenders. I think since
Mike
2016
Green.
or something like that. And Mike Green.
I know Mike Green was a man amongst boys in Mobile.
Yeah, at
I
this.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know that
at
much.
Senior Bowl he was
Yeah.
dominant, and he was good at the combine. Like I mean he wasn't like everybody was like expecting like wow eye popping numbers, but he was very good. 4.57 40. He showed. I think he was like 82 percentile or better in like 5 major
Is
categories.
it the
So
help?
his 10-yard split, his 3-cone, it was all good. So he has all the measurables to be a great edge
One,
defender.
two, three.
Is it the
Okay.
helmet scouting pushing him down a little bit?
I think a little bit. Everybody's looking at Marshall and they're like, well, he didn't play against the top tier talent. Yeah, but he dominated everybody at the Senior Bowl. So talk there. Shamar Stewart.
Okay.
So mainly him. So he doesn't have the production, but he has had the pressures. He just hasn't finished. So his deal is he needs coaching. He has at 290 to be as athletic and flexible in his hips and ankles as he is. He has like all the makings of shifting all across the line. Like he can play interior at 290. He can play the edge with his flexibility and his speed. He just needs to be groomed a little bit by good coaching. He needs somebody who can teach him how to pass rush, how to use his hands a little better, and then he'll be able to convert all that athleticism with the pressures into finishes. So if he gets coaching, he could be an elite player just because of the size. Like you can't teach that size with that
Yeah,
athleticism.
I don't hold his production against him just because Texas A&M runs a weird defense and
Right.
what they ask
Right.
for them from their defensive guys. So what
Yep.
he was asked to do in college, he's not going to be asked to do in the pros.
And another A&M guy I still take before Williams, Nick Scorton. I think Nick Scorton, he's also a guy who's got the size, and he's the only thing he doesn't have on Williams is the flexibility on the
Before
edge.
Donovan, wow, his last name is way too long for me to pronounce, but Donovan from Boston College.
Boston College, he's I have him right after, or actually no, I have him right before Williams too. Actually, I think I ended up with Williams as my edge 9 after the combine. So Boston College, Donovan from Boston College was my 8. Let's see if I can remember. Hold on, I got my old show notes right here.
Cheat sheet.
So
Cheat
I will
sheet.
I will
Go ahead.
ask. That means you don't have a first round grade on Michael Williams.
I don't. So he still seems raw,
Yes, I
right?
agree.
Like we were all expecting this year he was going to break out. Like he's incredibly strong. He's got the length, like you said. He's got the wingspan, but he didn't really show much technique. He didn't win much. He wasn't a guy like Stewart who's creating pressures and just not finishing. It just there wasn't anything behind it, and I can't really get behind a guy who he needs coaching. He has physicalness, but he ran a 4.72 40. So everybody's saying he's super athletic, and it's like he still needs to show that he's super athletic. I mean, his tape shows a little better, but I don't know. I'm
On
still
the fence. I understand that one. I get it. When you were talking about Shamar Stewart, and when I see Shamar Stewart, it kind of reminds me of David Irving when he
Yep.
was dominating. I know,
Irving.
right, bro. If he just kept his head on straight,
Right.
he was a
Right.
person that could play on
Absolutely.
every spot on that defensive
Oh yeah.
defense.
And that's a great comparison.
Like
I feel
defensive
like
end, he was
I feel
killing
that's
it.
fantastic.
Defensive tackle, killing it. And he was a person that could play inside or outside. That's the talent I
Yeah,
get from Shamar.
because he had the speed and
Yeah.
the flexibility.
I could see that definitely from Shamar Stewart.
How?
Yeah. All right. So this is how I had it. So Michael Williams was actually my edge 10. So I had Abdul Carter, Mike Green, James Pierce, Shamar Stewart, Princely Umenmielen from Florida, or Ole Miss actually this year. He played a bunch at Florida, and then last year he played at Ole Miss. Jack Sawyer with Ohio State. Donovan Izariuaku,
Yes.
I think it is. JT Tuimolau from Ohio State. So that guy I kind of had a little bit of a crush on. He's not as complete as any of these other guys, but he dominated the playoffs, right? The 4 playoff games, he had 20 pressures, 6.5 sacks, and I think it was 10 tackles for a loss, and he had over a 90 grade in run defense. So like he covered it all. He's not complete. He's a manimal. Like he's just strong. He's a bull rush. He's all power. He doesn't have the flexibility, but he seems like a guy who he's not going to thrive in the NFL, but he's going to be a good NFL player. He's never going to be a full-time player. He's going to be like a 45-50% snap share guy. Get you like 7 sacks a season.
So he's like a Karl Loftus coming in.
Yeah. But then I had Nick Scorton, then Michael Williams, and then Landon Jackson from
I love
Arkansas
Landon
was my.
Jackson. I don't know. I just
So
it's the baldy
he's
for me.
good.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
He's got the athleticism, but he doesn't have really much else. Like he uses his length. He uses length great. Like he's got long arms and he's got a good jab, but he doesn't have many other pass rush moves after that, and he doesn't have any
I was gonna
counters.
say, yeah.
Like a lot of these guys need to work on their counters. Like they're good college players because they're winning off their raw athleticism, but a lot of it, when you get to the NFL, you're not going to beat these tackles and these guards with raw athleticism. You're going to need to have a counter. You're going to have some pass rush moves in your arsenal, or you're not going to be a full down or 3-down player. You're going to be a pass rush specialist. You're going to be a rotational player until you figure out how you can either play run defense or you can show you have more than one move in your pass rush
And to
arsenal.
that note, Mike Green, to respect to Abdul Carter, is a monster, nevertheless. But I think Mike Green has the best counter package in this whole class.
Yep. So the thing with Abdul Carter that I don't think enough people know about is it's only his second year as an edge defender. Like he was an off-ball linebacker just 3 years ago, and he had 6.5 sacks as an off-ball linebacker, and Penn State was like, "Yeah, I think we need to move you on the edge. Like, I think we need to try you out here." So he's still learning, and he was absolutely dominant in every phase as an edge rusher. So it's like for this guy to only be doing this 2 years with his skill set, his athleticism, his size, his strength, the sky's the limit.
Would you say he's similar to Micah Parsons?
I would say
I
so.
agree.
I would say he's
And
good.
how they did it, I don't know why Penn State does it.
Penn State has the best athletes at every position. Look at their tight ends that come out of that school. It's
I mean,
nuts.
look at the defensive end that got drafted by the Ravens. Owa, Owa, Owe. Thank you.
Odafe
Yeah.
Owe.
Ran like
Man,
a four.
And they also Isaac oh man, they just drafted another Penn State guy last year. I forget what his name, Isaac
It's
something.
gonna come to me, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't really play much, but
Penn State kills the underwear Olympics.
Yeah. Since we're
right.
on the discussion of college players, let's talk about the college player that's been talked about on the defensive side and also the offensive side as well, Mr. Travis Hunter. How do you feel about him as a DB prospect compared to like him as a wide receiver prospect? Like, where do you see him playing mainly wide receiver, mainly DB, a good mix of both?
What's your take?
So I think he'd be a good mix of both, honestly. If you look at his route tree that he ran in college, it was actually quite diverse, and he actually was pretty dominant on all his routes. Like it wasn't like he did an out route or he did a post route. Like he had a diverse route tree, and he had good grades at every route. Like it was crazy. But I still think he's a dominant DB. Like if I'm gonna draft Travis Hunter, I'm gonna play him as my cornerback one. Like he's gonna be my lockdown corner. Like he's got instincts, ball skills, speed. He can press. He's a dominant guy, and his understanding of the wide receiver position only makes him a better cornerback, and vice versa too. But the problem with when he's a wide receiver, and I think we saw it during his pro day when he was, I'm sure everybody saw him when he ran that route where he had he tried like 3 or 4 moves where he actually made his break, and like anybody who's on defense is looking at that like you just gave up a sack, like. You took so much time to get open. You just gave up a sack. So don't use that as your pro
His
day
legs
route.
reminded me of Jerry Jeudy right there.
Right.
And
Not a good look.
One thing that people don't understand is these NFL DBs are going to get their hands on you. They're not going to let you do all that. As soon as you open that chest up, they're driving right through your chest.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If they're right at the line of scrimmage and they're going right into you. You're getting bumped off your route, and you better make sure you know how to beat press. But he's good at press and defense, so he understands it. I think he's a much better cornerback than he is wide receiver. But if a wide receiver needy team drafts him, but they also plan on playing him on defense, as an IDP person, that's that's gold.
That's the 101.
If you can get a guy who's going to get if he's going to play as an every down cornerback, right? He's going to play 100% of snaps most likely. If he even gets 5-6 targets a game, maybe gets 4 catches, You add 4 catches for 50 yards, potentially a touchdown, to also 5 tackles, 2 passes defense. That's an easy DB1, like easy, and that's even like top tier IDP right there.
Would
Like
you say,
if you can flirt with a touchdown every single game with an IDP, that's like okay.
what's the earliest you would take Travis Hunter in your rookie? And I guess it really depends
In an
on.
IDP league, or
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It really depends on if it's an IDP league. But
If
okay,
it's
let's go first. Go with IDP league. What's the earliest you're taking Travis Hunter?
super flex or no?
Super flex.
Super flex, probably
is
mid
there any
first.
other way to play?
No, well, there's still people that do, so I gotta ask.
I do. I love me some good one QB, baby.
Yeah, really?
I'd love me some good one QB.
I played a
But
1 QB last year. We have a guy we have a commissioner who changes the settings every year, and he makes it like random until like 2 days before the draft, just so he like makes it so it's like a scramble. But
that's
last year he
actually
changed to 1 QB. I was like, you just made it easier. Thank you.
He thinks he's the fishbowl, huh? Changing the rules every year.
Yeah, he's just been doing like this is the guy we've been doing this for. Well, how long has it been since Luke Kuechly's rookie year? Was it like 15 years, 16
oh my
years?
goodness, don't age me.
He changes the settings every year just to
Well, I
just
thought
keep
my
us on our
oldest
toes.
league at 10 years was doing something.
Yeah, we've been in this league forever, and that's what's gotten me on the IDP, man. But yeah, Travis Hunter, I'm taking him mid first. If it's an IDP league, I'll take him mid first.
We saw someone in our latest mock that we did the other day take Travis Hunter at the 104.
I've been seeing him go there quite a bit lately in
Was it an
mocks.
IDP
Eh,
mock?
no, just super
Really?
flex,
Yeah.
That's
PPR.
different. No, see, I don't trust it enough. I don't trust it enough because it's like
I'm
sure,
too risk
people
averse for that.
well, it's like sure, like he was a productive wide receiver, right? But he's too good at cornerback for a team to draft him and not play him at cornerback. So like I feel like teams are looking at him as a cornerback first. That's a good wide receiver.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's looking at him as like a wide receiver first and a pretty good cornerback. No, because he's a very good cornerback. He's like an elite cornerback, and he's
So
a good wide receiver.
Travis Hunter, when he enters the NFL, Travis Hunter is a top blank cornerback.
When he enters the NFL, I'll give him top 15
Okay.
because it's still good. That's
Yeah.
still very good.
Yes.
But I think he has the potential to be a top 5.
My
But
my question is, does he have the best hands at any cornerback in the league?
Not better than Trevon Diggs, who was also a wide receiver at one point.
Man, get
Diggs,
out of here, man. Get him back on the field.
You don't have better
Cowboys
hands.
love.
Diggs needs to cool down his aggression, though. He needs to stop jumping.
He
He needs to
does.
stop jumping routes. He does it
Yeah, he
all the
does.
time. But luckily for him, do they still have Malik Hooker?
Yes, we still have.
Because Hooker's great on the back end. Like he's a saving grace. Like, that dude's a ball hawk too. So it's very comforting as a corner to know you have this guy as safety help because if you make a bad jump, he's got your back.
Did you see that back and forth between Asante Samuel and who was it? They were talking about the T step and that the T step as a corner, it shouldn't be taught because it's wasted movement. And then Asante Samuel's like, I made a whole career off using the T step. And then he just went into a whole tangent between him and Ryan Clark. Because Ryan
Yep.
Clark said Deion Sanders, Asante Samuel sees himself in the same category as Deion Sanders. And
I mean, he was good,
I didn't.
So-
I
but he
didn't
was over aggressive. Deion Sanders
So
was
he's
probably the best
delusional.
corner ever.
that's literally what the conversation was. That kids wanted to wear the number 21 because of Dion.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. Asante Samuel is a great, and I say Asante Samuel Senior because Asante Samuel Junior is still looking for a job right now. Dallas Cowboys, what we doing? Right? What we doing? Actually, do you know anything about that? I'm surprised that Asante Samuel is not on a team right now.
I am too, actually. I mean, I'm wondering. I think people are waiting until after the draft because he's still a good player, and like to sign him, you probably still need to fork out a pretty decent contract. I mean, I like Asante Samuel, but I think he's a lot like his father. I think he's a little over aggressive. He jumps routes a little too much. He gets beat by the double move, and that's the thing with these guys. Is like you give them a double move. These guys who are over aggressive, you just give them a double move, and you're either you're either fucked. They're either glued to you, or you're going to shake them out of their boots because they're going to jump a route.
We
And I
drafted
think,
Kevin Joseph over Asante Samuel. So, and we see how Kevin Joseph is doing at the moment.
yeah,
Dropping rap albums.
right.
Man, jumping routes, that's what the Saints secondary used to do maybe like 8 years ago. Pretty much everybody on the team jumped routes, and the other team would be going over their heads, and that's how Drew Brees would average like 30 points a game and would still get our ass kicked week in and week out.
Getting beat over the top every single time.
Oh man, so annoying.
When it comes to DBs and IDP, it's I don't. It's like I try to, especially in drafts wise. Like I look at the safeties. I do love good safety play. Blankenship Eagles, one of my
Yep.
favorite safeties. I hate to say that as a Dallas Cowboys fan, but as a fantasy football player, love them to have on my team any day. And then you got the other guy, and Winfield Bucket.
Oh yeah,
He's
Antoine
like,
Winfield Jr.
yes, one of the top three guys.
Yep.
How do you feel about Tre? I feel like I've mispronounced his name as well, but Moring. He used to play for the
Trayvon
Raiders.
Moehrig. He's
Yes.
good. So he's always been. I saw him as a deep safety, right? He was a single high safety. He's great in coverage. He's a good ball hawk. He has great instincts. He's good tackling instincts as well. But this past year, he stepped up his tackling in LA. I mean, they had Robert Spillane, but after that, they really didn't have anybody else, right, to tackle. So, and I think he broke over the 100 tackle mark pretty easily, but while also being productive in coverage. So Moehrig is a complete player. He shows he's a complete player. He doesn't have to be cast as a single high safety. He can play cover two. He can play strong safety if you want, because he showed he's an efficient tackler as well. So I like Moehrig a lot.
How about Justin Simmons? Because he still is out on the market as well.
He's just a little too old at this point. He's kind of a guy you wait till your starting safety gets injured and you bring him in off the streets a little bit, and he'll be productive for you. But he's not a guy I'm looking to draft. He's good. He was like, if you give me Justin Simmons like 3 or 4 years ago, you're getting like 6 or 7 interceptions a season. You're like, yeah, you're like 90 tackles, 7 interceptions. Which brings me to a guy I really love, Kirby Joseph in Detroit.
Yes.
17 interceptions his first 3 seasons, 31 passes defended. He hasn't had less than 72 tackles in a season. And he's an efficient tackler. He's aggressive. He's great on the back end. He has great tackling technique. He rarely misses tackles, and he's just a ball hawk on the back end. And when you're playing like the scoring setting that I have that rewards big play, I mean, when you have 80 tackles, 10 passes defended, and 9 interceptions on the season, it's a good season.
No.
And what about his teammate Branch?
Oh, I love Brian Branch. That dude, like he's more or less like a nickel corner box safety, but he's so good in coverage. Like he's glued to tight ends, man. He's so good, and he's just racking up tackles too. Like Branch is fantastic.
He reminds me of Tyrann Mathieu, without the kick returning and stuff like that. Of
Right.
how that star position on the defense
Before he came to the
Started it
Saints.
all.
Before he came to the Saints and started becoming toast, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where every secondary DB goes to, kill off
Oh.
the career. So
That's
that's
where they
what
go to rot, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Fred Thomas, man. Fred Thomas. They used to call him Toast. Fucking Fred Thomas toasted again.
Oh man.
Toast!
No, Joey. Who are some of your sleepers this year that you're looking at in the IDP?
All right, so if you look at the linebacker position, I'm honestly thinking whoever's going to replace Dre Greenlaw in San Francisco. Mainly because whoever plays that position, it's literally like the weak side linebacker, right? Because Fred Warner's going to play your middle. And Fred Warner's going in coverage. He's going to follow the tight end up the seam. Fred Warner is probably the best coverage linebacker in the NFL.
I agree.
One of my favorite players. Love the guy. But he's not a guy who's going to rack you up tackles. That's what Dre Greenlaw used to do. Dre Greenlaw was pretty much given free will to just fill gaps. He was a run stuffer. He was a great tackler. So he was like 120, 130 tackle guy when he was healthy. So they don't really have anybody right now to fill those shoes. I don't know if they're going to go draft or if they're still going to sign somebody in the offseason. I think I believe the only move they've made so far was like Luke Gifford from Tennessee. I don't think they've really made any moves for it. So whoever's going to step in and replace Drake Greenlaw is going to be instantly have the chance for production. I mean, there's like I said, there's like 130 vacant tackles per season. So linebacker, I like him. Edge defender, let's see, I
Hmm.
think it's written down. I like Joseph Asai
Ah,
with Cincy.
yeah.
So they're they're kind of in a weird state right now. Sam Hubbard decided to retire. Miles Murphy, a former first-round pick, has just been incredibly underwhelming. They still haven't signed Trey Hendrickson, and there hasn't been much movement on his contract, and he seems frustrated. So,
Could be a draft day trade.
right, so Joseph Asai might just be the de facto edge one, and Al Golden, their defensive coordinator, is a very aggressive coordinator. So, I mean, Asai could be in for like number one, absolute killer volume, and number two, just de facto number one. So it's like just send the guy in. I don't know. It's kind of crazy just to think of Joseph Asai as your edge one, but he played well
Well,
last year in spurts. He also lost them a playoff game a couple years back,
Mm.
well, the thing
but
is, the other team's gonna have to score to keep up, so there'll be a lot of passing
right,
situations,
exactly.
in
That
Cincinnati.
offense, oof, that offense
Listen,
is
the sleeper I have for you, and he missed last year because he got hurt. But as a defensive player, how big this guy is and the amount of tackles he makes, impressive. Derrick Brown, Carolina Panthers.
yeah,
Yeah, when he got hurt last year, I was quite upset because he actually is. He's a big guy who gives you still pass rush ability
right.
and is a great run stopper.
Well, shit, he had what 100 tackles his
Yes.
full season.
Yeah.
That's
Look,
crazy for a
look
defensive
at
lineman.
the defensive. I think even plays nose tackle for
Yeah,
them.
he's just
So,
a big dude. He's a big dude. He's strong. He's got great instincts.
so I love me some goddamn. Now I think that we play from time to time. It's called this or that. I'm going to give you two players at a time, and you
Okay.
tell me which one you would rather have on your team in an IDP league. Starting off, Miles Garrett, Nick Bosa.
Oh. I want to say Nick Bosa because I'm a 49ers fan, but I got to go Miles Garrett. Miles Garrett's so good. Dude's just so good. He's dominant. Like Nick Bosa, he's a little more injury. I don't want to say prone because he's not injury prone, but he has missed time due to injuries. They have a better defense in San Francisco. I mean, I'm not really sure who they're bringing in to play across in this year, but I mean, last year with Leonard Floyd sucked up a lot of his sacks,
Yeah,
and Miles Garrett, it doesn't really matter who plays next to him. I mean, the dude's so good, and he might even get Abdul Carter to play across from him. So
don't say that.
imagine that tandem.
That would be crazy.
Miles Garrett's
I would love to see
dominant
it.
every year. He's dominant every year, and he beats double teams. He does it all. So it's
All
like,
right.
and I love Nick Bosa, and I think Nick Bosa is like a top 3 edge, but Miles Garrett might be my top.
How
And I think
about
that's a super underrated place for Abdul Carter to go, man. Just
that's
load
not.
up on that line. Just
That's not.
load up on that line. Just be
Okay.
dominant somewhere.
We don't need that drama. We don't need
Kirk
that.
Cousins at QB, Garrett and Abdul Carter on the edge.
It'd be like two freaks on the edge, man. I don't, Miles Garrett is already a handful. I think he. I don't
Gosh,
think actually he is the fastest player to get to 100 sacks in his career. And he's only 28 and already
right.
has over 100 sacks.
Like if you look, I don't know what the actual stat is, but Mike Waller was telling me about it. Like his pressure to the quarterback it was like in under 2 seconds, he leads the NFL in the past like 3 seasons or something like that. It was insane. Like he's just so good. He gets to the quarterback so quick.
It's wild work. Now, Miles Garrett or Max Crosby.
I still got to go Miles Garrett. I love Max Crosby too. I do. Like I said, like Crosby's in the top 5 for me too. He's one of those elite pass rushers. So these guys are all like elite pass rushers for me. These are the guys that I'm taking first before any other IDPs. Like it's these edge rushers.
Will Anderson or TJ Watt.
Dynasty or redraft?
Dynasty.
Dynasty, I might go Anderson just because of his age. And Watt's starting to get banged up a little bit. If I'm going redraft, I think I still have to go Watt. Just because the dude, he's just so productive. He's so productive, like tackles, sacks, and what's underrated is his forced fumbles and his passes defended.
Mm.
He gets his hands up like crazy, and he just forces turnovers.
Okay, and this is the last one. We're gonna go Michael Parsons. Actually, no. We won't do it. I feel like that's an easy one. Chris Jones or Dexter Lawrence. I like Dexter. I'm gonna go Dexter, and I say that because we face them twice a year.
Right.
Dexter Lawrence whoops
Yeah,
everybody.
he's a beast. He's a beast, but Chris Jones, I have a special hatred in my heart for the man. If you look at the first Super Bowl where the 49ers played the Chiefs, right?
Mm-hmm.
They should have won that Super Bowl. Like, they had Jimmy Garoppolo, right? They were still winning that Super Bowl. They were leading all the way through the fourth quarter. And
Chris Jones.
and and Shanahan
I know
got
how
a
this
lot of
ends.
guff, right? It was second down. They had the lead, and he ended up throwing the ball. It was a play action fake, and he was threw to George Kittle, ended up going incomplete, and it was because Chris Jones got his big old mitt up and he swatted the ball down. Asshole. Because number one, George Kittle was wide open. It was a fantastic play call. George Kittle makes that reception. He gets yards after the catch. That game's over.
Mhm.
But instead, Chris Jones gets his paw up. He knocks the ball down. Clock stops. Kansas City gets the ball back, ends up winning the game next drive.
And the rest is history, baby. You
Special
know.
piece of hatred in my heart for Chris Jones. He's good. He's very good. Like that second half of that Super Bowl, he won the Super Bowl for the Chiefs. I felt like he should have been the MVP just because if you watch that guy play, he's the one that turned that game around for him because all of a sudden that 49ers offense stalled and he made that big play in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he's always crashes the inside pocket in the playoffs like
Piss me off.
clockwork.
So he's a man. He's a real beast. I give him that. I like me some Chris Jones.
Yep.
Man. He's
A couple
annoying.
other sleepers that I wanted to hit on real quick.
Yeah.
Aziz
Give me up. I
Ojulari.
got my notebook.
Aziz Ojulari, because he just left the Giants and he's now with the Eagles. The Eagles just lost Josh Sweat to the Cardinals.
Yep.
So Aziz Ojulari might just slide right into another starting edge role. Like he leaves the Giants who had Kayvon Thibodeau. They traded for Brian Burns, but now Thibodeau went down last year. Ojulari was still super productive in limited time and then just signs with the Eagles. So being like this has got to piss you off, right? So you're a Cowboys fan, but you're also a Georgia fan, right?
Yo, I know.
Think of this
know,
potential
man.
of that Eagles
I know.
front, right?
I know,
Nolan
man.
Smith.
You don't. Every time.
Alan
For the
Carter,
last,
Jordan
last-
Davis,
yeah.
and Aziz Ojulari. 4 Georgia first-round picks from 22 and 23. And that's
when
the
I
Eagles
tell you,
front.
every year to watch those guys, it's been Kobe Dean, it's been Jalen Carter, one of my favorite guys to come out. You got
Who's so good.
he's going to be the next defensive player of the year. I'm calling that right now.
I wouldn't be
And
surprised.
then they basically go take a whole secondary. And now I hear that they're even looking at Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia.
They taking him. They take him. They want an all Georgia Bulldog defense.
I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose it. I'm going to fucking lose it if they get Malachi Starks. Don't nobody moves like Malachi Starks in this whole draft. Like, if we didn't have Hooker on the Cowboys already, I would want Malachi Starks on the Cowboys.
That would be a good fit.
Because
we kind of need a safety anyway. Donovan Wilson's gone, right?
No, he's still with us, but he's more of a strong
you?
safety. And at the same time, it was like, I like Hooker too.
Right.
Don't we all? But it's but it's like Malachi Starks just moves different. He reminds me of Ed Reed, the way he moves around in that back end. I want him, and if he goes to the Eagles, that's going to be my official crash out. I don't want to. I'm crashing out.
You might as well just join the Eagles. All of your Bulldogs are going there.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get.
They calling you. They calling you.
Get my hat.
They calling you. They calling you.
I hope
Oh
it's an
shit!
Eagles hat.
Here comes the sombrero. It's the Georgia sombrero.
You know, you know how you
I
know how
think at
we.
the very top of that, you need to have a Philly symbol.
You know,
So
y'all
you
know
saying
how
the Georgia Bulldogs are basically the minor leagues for the Eagles?
the
Pretty much
Philadelphia
that
Bulldogs,
farm
man.
system.
Yeah. Do you have
So
any
What
more
I
sleepers for us, Joey?
one for the defensive back position, Malik Mustafa. He was a
Did,
safety
did,
for the
did you
49ers.
not say?
fuck yeah, that's my guy. That's
Yep.
my guy. I got him on like all
Yep.
of my deep IDP
72
leagues.
tackles and 5 PDs last year, and he only started 12 games. Hufanga just left for Denver, and Jair Brown plays more deep safety. So Malik Mustafa,
He's gonna be in the box.
he's
Oh,
a
Rocco.
rocket. He's a
Rocco
rocket.
hit that right on the head. Like we talked about IDP players maybe about a month and a half
Yeah,
ago,
when we were talking about free agency,
Yep.
and that was one of Rocco's guys that he spoke about
that
that
dude's
time.
like a fucking rocket ship.
Yep.
Like sometimes it doesn't seem like he knows where he's going, but somebody's gonna get hurt along the way.
Right. It kind of reminds you of Palomalu, just
Hmm.
the way he plays.
Yeah,
Troy Polamalu.
and I actually like Tuafunga actually,
I
but
do too. I love Hufanga.
he just couldn't stay
Talanoa
healthy.
Hufanga.
You know,
What's
couldn't
that?
stay healthy.
No, he couldn't stay healthy.
He was one of my
got
favorite
injured.
IDP guys right there.
Me too.
He was so fun
His
to
rookie
have on the
season
team.
and his second season, it was like 49ers, we got a defense. We have another team to go to a Super Bowl. And then it's just every season, it's injuries. Like last year, we had so many hopes, and it was just injuries. And all of a sudden, now all our wide receivers want to go somewhere else. God damn it.
Fuck.
Damn it.
No,
We stuck
no,
with Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings.
I'm trying to get trade top dollar for trade Juwan Jennings away for top dollar.
That's a good move right
Uh,
now. He's a little older prospect.
but
Trade him.
Ayuk's staying there.
He wants
They
out.
picked up his.
Okay.
They're gonna trade him. They're
I
gonna
thought it
trade
was
him.
a certain date that he needed to be
Oh,
moved.
he got a huge contract. He got they gave him a contract last year. They extended him, it was like 4 year, 100 and something mil. But they're still talking about moving him. Like whatever. Debo, you know what? I love Debo Samuel because he was so gracious with how he went. He's like, I have no qualms with San Francisco. It's just time for me to move on. He's like, I love the staff. I love everything. I love the city. He's like, I'm just looking for something new. And I was like, oh, fuck you, but thank you. Thank you for
Maybe
not.
he got tired of being like a running back. You know what I'm
Well, I
saying?
think that's what it was because that was like they were talking about him wanting to be traded the year before, and part of the deal was because he didn't like lining up in the backfield so much. But he's so good at it. Dude's a bulldog. Like the nickname Debo fits him perfect.
100%. He runs that
like,
thing.
like you see that guy, hide your chains, man. You don't. It's like
Listen,
hide your gold chains.
I think as we wind down, the 49ers, and it's been a wonderful offseason for me because y'all downfall has been so great to watch.
Yeah,
And
that's
all the players that
Tank.
y'all
That's not
had
good.
to,
Hmm?
yeah, y'all, the players that y'all lost. And I don't know, the cap has come back to hit y'all. Y'all have to pay y'all. Y'all not on, the quarterback isn't on a rookie deal anymore.
Right.
How did you feel about Mason getting traded?
Sucks. I mean, it's okay because Guarendo came in last year, and as a rookie, he looked great actually. So, like Jordan Mason, he was fantastic. Like he filled in so well for McCaffrey. Like the thing is with Shanahan, he doesn't really need a phenomenal running back to be successful. You have to be athletic. Like athletic running backs will thrive in his scheme. Like look at Matt Breida. Matt Breida was almost
Yeah.
1,000-yard rusher under Shanahan. He left Shanahan's scheme and he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like he can take virtually anybody as long as they have like high-end athleticism and they can thrive in his scheme, that outside zone. Now, if you're a good running back and you have high-end athleticism like Christian McCaffrey, you're just absolutely dominant. And then add in his pass catching, and you're like, whew, just stay the hell healthy.
Yeah.
Stay healthy.
You feeling good about his health?
No, I never am. I never am. Even when he
So
comes in
honest.
healthy, I'm never am. It's like, come on, man. He's so good when he's healthy. It's just the problem is he's got so many miles. Like everywhere he's played, he's an every down player, and he's almost touching the ball every fucking down. Like the amount of carries he gets add in the receptions. It's like, dude, if he stays healthy, he'll rack up 1,800, 1,900 all-purpose yards, but he needs to stay healthy.
And the Niners had a lot of trouble scoring touchdowns with him out of the lineup as well in the goal line situations.
Absolutely.
And we have winded down. This has been a great episode. It's been fun to have you on, Joey. We definitely got to get you into an IDP league. We definitely got to create one, Rocco.
Before we go, how did you get that name, Joey the Tooth?
How can we forget?
All right, the tooth. So, slightly embarrassing, not gonna lie, but it cracks me up. So I have one of my best friends still. I've literally known him my entire life. Like, him and my brother are a year older than me, and they were 17 days apart, and he was our neighbor. So I've known him my entire life, and we've still hang out to this day. So we were in our I turned 40 this year, and we were in our early 20s, and we were at his apartment, and we were just sitting on his couch, and we were just getting baked out of our minds. We were just sitting there, and he looks at me, and he's like, Joey, you got tiny teeth. I'm like, huh? He's like, you got like dolphin teeth, bro.
That's a high
So he's like, I'm gonna call you Joey the Tooth from now on. I'm like, sure. So he's kind of a bigger guy, and he always had a king size Snickers on him and a 1 liter Diet Pepsi. I was like, always had it on him. So I was like, you know what, bud? You can call me Joey the Tooth. I'll call you Snacks. And from here on, ever since, I've been Joey the Tooth, and he's been Snacks. So
I'm gonna always remember you now, Joey the Tooth. I like that story.
What do we got to promote? What you got going on?
Tell the people where they can find you at.
You can find all my work at FootballGuys.com. I got a full lineup of IDP projections this year. I've done it for the past 3 years. IDP projections. I mean, we're talking like 300 plus players. IDP rankings, same deal. My projections actually transfer to my rankings, so it creates my rankings, which is fantastic. So I got IDP rankings, IDP projections. I've got the top 40 IDP rookie big board coming up that I do with Kyle Bellafuel, and then in season I do a weekly article. It's a defensive line streamer, so you do edge and interior defensive line streamers every week. So I base it off a matchup, like which offensive line can you take advantage of, and then find guys who you could either find on the waiver wire or sitting on your bench and tell you which ones are the ones who are worthy of a start this week. Usually has like a 50 to 60% hit rate, so I'm actually pretty proud of it. But
hey, that's a good one right there.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, I'm usually just guessing.
Hell yeah, brother! It was when Rock was like, "Yo, Joey wants to come on," and we was able to. I was like, "Hell, let's get him on." I like IDP. I've gained a new appreciation for defensive players. Just hearing you talk about the guys, I can 100% tell you're super insightful. So it was great having you on, Joe. And just if you ever want to come on again, man, we'd love to have you on Fourth and Fifth.
Let me know. Yeah. So the one thing I can say about IDP, right? If you haven't played, try playing it. Give it 2 or 3 years, and when you're going into your season, as you're watching your players play, realize how much more of a fan it makes you of football, right? You're not just watching points. You're watching players play, and then you understand schemes. You start understanding schemes, and you understand offenses and how they go back and forth against each other. You understand when people are making adjustments and shit, like after halftime. You see the adjustments defensively, offensively, and it's like it makes you a bigger fan. Like I always loved football, but I didn't really know how much I loved football until I started playing IDP, and I realized both sides of the football, and I understood it better. So that's why I love it so much, because it just made me a bigger football fan.
Hell yeah, I agree with that one. IDP is definitely, it just opens your eyes to different. Like I couldn't tell you what a cover 4, cover 3, cover 2 was, and then
Right.
So we're saying is fuck team defense, IDP. Only noobs play team defense.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Even fuck kickers even more. If you still playing with kickers, fucking find a new hobby.
You want to hear something funny? We got rid of IDP players, but we kept the kickers.
Bro, come on.
I'm not coming back ever again. Nope, you're done. I'm out of here. Peace.
It's not. I would like to say it's not my league. It's not my league.
You're not supposed to piss off our guests like this.
we still are starting kickers, but we got rid of all the ID players. It didn't make sense, but
That's ice cold.
Yeah.
I need names.
Find
I
better
need names.
leagues.
Your commissioner.
he said we got to
Fi-
get him out of here.
Find better leagues.
But thank you, Joey, for coming on. This has been absolutely wonderful. I believe this is episode 41 for us. We are
Nice.
still we're still grinding. It's still the off season. We got a few more weeks until the NFL draft. We might have you. I might have you back on after to see
I was
with
gonna
the
say
I would
let's
lens.
love
do
that.
let's do a
Yeah.
post draft. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure, man. And this has been Sports and Fantasy, aka your fantasy insights. 4 game winning drives. Catch us again this weekend. As always, have y'all a wonderful night or day or wherever you're at.